Hello, my name is Matt Graydon, and I've attended Mioneer Christian Church for approximately 10 years. Throughout my time here, I've noticed a lot of changes in the church, and it's a very family-oriented environment. They work toward more opportunities for youth and families, programs driven toward the entire family, which I think is really nice. This is a difficult question for me because I went to church. I believed in God my entire life. I've attended church most of my 44 years. However, I would say that I was never an active participant, just kind of a casual receiver of church. I went to church because, first with my mother, then grandmother, spouse, and over that time I would show up on Sunday. I would have a nice experience here or there, but I could always push it back down inside of me. But here over the last several years, I've made a conscious effort to try to really apply myself and learn more about Christianity and grow in faith. So reflecting over my life, several people, whether it's people that God brought into my life through church or just through casual acquaintances or friends or family, have shored up my belief. The decision to get baptized, it's been a long time coming, and for several years, like I said, I would have the occasional experience or the occasional draw toward baptism, and I could always push it down or ignore it. I would go out of church and continue with my life, and it seemed like it might last indeterminate amounts of time, sometimes a day, sometimes a week, but it would always pass. Over the last couple of years, I've been praying about baptism. I don't pray, at that time wasn't praying a lot, but a lot of my prayers revolved around trying to draw closer to God. In my mind, I always kind of thought there would be an event, I don't know if the skies would open up or, a beam of light would shine down, Matt, I am God, be baptized. And that day never came for me. So the more I started to put a conscious application, try to start to learn a little more about Christianity, actively involve myself, it seemed like God continued to put people in my path through church, through work, through recreational endeavors that were Christians, that were strong believers, that brought me to this point. And I will tell you, a lot of my life, I was always one that when people would say, oh, God's been talking to me or God's been working on me, I'll be like, yeah, I don't know. So that had never happened for me. But through prayer and through work here, especially over the last several months and the weeks leading up to decide to get baptized, I will tell you, absolutely, God was working on me. I couldn't shake it. I couldn't get it out of my head. It was consuming my thoughts, and I figured that was the time. No beam of light, no claps of thunder, but it was absolutely God was drawing me to that point. For me specifically, it's just a public acknowledgement of my faith, and for me to get to that point, I had to accept a few things. Although I went to church most of my life, I know very little about Christianity. It was really subtle to me, the feelings associated with it. So it was important that when I get baptized that I now say, get baptized to make the public admission of faith. And I see that two ways. I had a great sense of relief after I was baptized. And then last week I've thought a lot about it. I've made a really large commitment here because I don't take these things lightly. And I need to apply myself to continue to grow in Christianity.
Because of your confession of faith, Matt, you're being baptized in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit for the forgiveness of sins and the gift of the Holy Spirit. Being buried with Christ in baptism and rising to walk in the newness of life.
What I say. I would tell you first and foremost, pray. Even if praying isn't your daily thing, but if you're considering baptism, obviously you're going to church. I told you I was there for 44 years, so start praying specifically for guidance, and then talk to people. Talk to your pastor. And I'm a big objectivity guy, so I wanted to go outside the church, talk to people that weren't necessarily church attenders, people within the church that I knew were going to be very direct with me and give me some sage advice. And hopefully you come to a decision that's best for you. I would encourage you to get baptized if it's on your mind. It's relatively simple. I probably should say family, which is true, which is absolutely true. They've been a large influence. 2 of my sons were baptized prior to me. My wife was. So I've had this great influence from my family in Christianity. But honestly, when it comes to probably seeing, feeling God or being closer to God, being in nature, whether I am sitting in a deer stand, whether I'm sitting in a fishing boat, and these generally are experiences alone, where I'm there in a quiet time where I can think and reflect over my entire life, how fortunate that I am, the blessings that I have, and the kind of life I want to lead. I did this video against my will. I was coerced into doing it by Rusty and Jacob. That's all.